Monday, April 6th, 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us for the first edition of our 6 p.m. news this week over Camdis Television. Straight away, let's begin with our bullet points. 42 years later, April 6, 1984 marks the period of reflection on a defining moment in Cameroon's history when a failed coup shook Yaoundé and tested the nation's institutions. The rapid containment of the uprising highlighted the resilience of the republic and the loyalty of its defense forces, leaving an enduring legacy in Cameroon's political institutional memory. Cameroon has strengthened its international presence in the transport sector by taking part in the first edition of the International Transport and Logistics Forum held in St. Petersburg in Russia. Minister of Transport Jean-Ernest Marcel Nangale-Bebehe engaged in strategic business-to-business meetings with investors and partners as stakeholders adopted forward-looking resolutions on connectivity, digitalization, and safety in global transport systems. Under the theme Sport Connecting People, Breaking Down Barriers, Cameroon has marked World Sport Day for Development and Peace this April 6, 2026 with a peace walk in Yaoundé, bringing together diverse communities. The event showcased sports' role in fostering unity, inclusion, and social cohesion. You have these stories and more in a bit. Thanks once more for joining us. April 6, 1984 remains a date that remains etched in the collective memory of Cameroonians. On that faithful day, the tranquility of Yaoundé was shattered by heavy gunfire, marking the beginning of a failed coup d'etat that would test the resilience of the country's institutions. The attempted destabilization led by the faction of the Republican Guard was rapidly contained, highlighting the strength of Cameroon's Republican institutions and the loyalty of its defense forces. The significance of April 6, 1984 is in the following commentary compiled to us by Bertrand Tita.
On April 6, 1984, a group of dissident soldiers from the Republican Guard launched a surprise attack on key government buildings and strategic points in Yaoundé. The objective was clear: to overthrow the government of President Paul Biya and seize power. However, the attempt was met with swift and decisive action from the defense and security forces, who remained loyal to the constitutional order. Under the leadership of President Paul Biya, the regular army quickly regained control of the situation, retaking key points in the capital and restoring order. The attempted coup was foiled and the perpetrators were brought to justice. The episode was marked by significant loss of lives, but it also demonstrated the resilience of Cameroon's institution and the commitment of its defense forces to uphold the rule of law. The aftermath of the attempted coup saw a significant strengthening of Cameroon's security and institutional apparatus. The government took steps to consolidate state authority, reform the military, and enhance national security. The episode also served as a catalyst for reforms aimed at promoting stability, unity, and sovereignty. More than 4 decades later, April 6, 1984 remains a powerful symbol of Cameroon's ability to withstand adversity and preserve its essential values. The country's institutions have continued to evolve, and the lessons of that fateful day remain relevant today. The event of April 6, 1984 serves as a reminder of the importance of defending the foundation of the Republic. In an era of increasing uncertainty and global stability, Cameroon experience offers valuable insight into the importance of institutional resilience, national unity, and the rule of law. As Cameroon continues to navigate the challenges of the 21st century, the legacy of 6th April remains a powerful reminder of the country's commitment to stability, democracy, and good governance. It is a testament to the enduring strength of Cameroon's institution and the determination of its people to preserve their sovereignty and unity. April 6, 1984 will forever be remembered as a pivotal moment in Cameroon's history. The attempted coup d'etat was a test of the country's institutions, and the response was a testament to the resilience of the Cameroonian people. As the country looks to the future, the lesson of that fateful day remains relevant, serving a reminder of the importance of defending the foundation of the Republic and promoting national unity and stability.
The Constitutional Laws Committee of the National Assembly, led by Honorable Zondol Hesses, has adopted a bill to amend and supplement the 2004 law on the Constitutional Council. This development is a significant step towards strengthening the institutional framework of Cameroon, particularly in the light of the recent institution of the position of the Vice President of the Republic in the Constitution. We have Bertrand Tita once more, who gives us an in-depth in the following commentary.
The bill, defended by the Minister of State, Minister of Justice and Keeper of the Seal, Laurent Esso, aims to amend Section 38 and 39 of the law to lay down the organization and functioning of the Constitutional Council. The proposed amendments are designed to specify the procedures in the event of the resignation or permanent incapacity of the President of the Republic. One of the key aspects of the bill is the requirement that the President of the Republic tender his resignation to the President of the Constitutional Council and to the Vice President of the Republic. The provision ensures that the Vice President, who is now constitutionally mandated to complete the President's term of office, is informed and involved in the transition process. The bill also outlines the procedure for ascertaining the permanent incapacity of the President of the Republic. In the case, the Vice President shall refer the matter to the Constitutional Council, which shall rule thereon by a two-thirds majority of its members. This provision ensures that the process of determining the President's incapacity is transparent, rigorous, and subject to checks and balances. The ruling of the Constitutional Council shall be made public, ensuring that the citizens of Cameroon are informed of the outcomes of the process. This provision is essential for maintaining the stability and continuity of the state, as it provides clarity on the process of succession and ensures that the affairs of the state are managed without interruption. The proposed amendments to the law are a welcome development as they complement the reform initiated with the constitution of the position of Vice President. They are designed to strengthen efficiency in the management of state affairs and ensure a smooth system of deputizing within the executive. The bill to amend and supplement the 2004 law on the Constitutional Council is a significant step towards strengthening Cameroon's institutional framework. The proposed amendments are designed to ensure a smooth transition of power, maintain the stability of the state, and uphold the principles of good governance.
And as you heard in one of our lead stories, the first edition of the International Transport and Logistics Forum has rounded up in St. Petersburg, Russia, with forward-looking resolutions on connectivity, digitalization, and safety. From the 1st to the 3rd of April 2026, more than 6,000 participants showcased innovations and achievements in the transport sector. Amongst the participants was Cameroon's Minister of Transport Jean-Ernest Masséna Ngalebebehe, who used the forum to have B2B or to hold B2B meetings with investors. We have Promise Akante in the following report.
Cameroon's Minister of Transport has discussed collaboration across road, maritime, aviation, rail and meteorology sectors with his Russian counterpart, Andrei Nikitin. Minister Jean-Ines Massinangale-Bibehe was one of the participants at the International Transport and Logistics Forum held from April 1 to 3, 2026 in St. Petersburg, Russia, where along with other transport ministers, he engaged in dynamic discussions around themes like North-South International Transport Corridor, the role of transport connectivity in global security, and Africa's integration into major shipping routes, exploring both established and new maritime pathways. Opening the session via video conference, Russian President Vladimir Putin urged the delegates to forge smart, secure, and efficient transport corridors to accelerate the global movement of people and goods. With over 50 sessions across logistics, global connectivity, and digital transformation, experts focused on cutting-edge technologies to boost safety, efficiency, and passenger comfort. For 3 days, modernizing regulations and strengthening international linkages stood out as a crucial driving force for the growth of the sector amid rapid technological changes. The International Forum also featured a special session showcasing Africa's immense commercial potential, emphasizing how the continent's countries can better connect to global shipping routes through existing and innovative pathways along Africa's coasts. Minister Jean-Ines Massinangale-Bibehe used the International Forum to hold B2B meetings, notably with China's Vice Minister Cheng Guangzhou and Chinese entrepreneurs, including the CEO of CHEC, in charge of the development of the Kribi deep sea port. They explored avenues for cooperation, especially in transport infrastructure. The Chinese delegation expressed interest in hosting a Cameroonian delegation in September 2026 at the Transport Forum in China, while promising to send an official invitation. Another B2B meeting featured Roschem Alliance LCC, a Gazprom subsidiary, revealing keen interest in a Cameroon LNG project. The plan proposes replacing transport fleet energy sources with LNG, initially imported from Russia and eventually produced locally, an issue the minister promised to raise at government level. The inaugural St. Petersburg International Transport and Logistics Forum concluded with forward-looking resolutions on connectivity, digitalization, and safety, set for phased implementation over the next coming years, with the Cameroonian Transport Minister departing with a sense of achievement and commitment to ongoing dialogue. The prestigious global event, under the high patronage of President Vladimir Putin, attracted delegates from over 80 countries, including about 30 ministers in charge of transport and logistics, featuring 17 ministers and 15 deputy ministers, as well as more than 6,000 participants, media representatives, diplomatic heads, over 1,250 companies, more than half from the transport sector, showcased their innovation and strategies.
Let's now take a tour out of the country to get updates of what make news. First up in Zambia, where Zambia has declared a fuel supply emergency as rising prices and shortages linked to Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz disrupt daily life. The government is responding with temporary tax relief measures, while experts warn the crisis could impact much of Africa. Second stop will be in Iran and then Ukraine. These stories are compiled in the following report. As the conflict in the Middle East continues to push fuel prices upward, the Zambian government has declared the current fuel supply situation an emergency, citing disruptions linked to Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Despite being far from the conflict zone, residents report long queues, reduced mobility, and declining business activity due to fuel shortages, while energy experts warn that the crisis could affect up to 75% of African countries through rising prices and supply uncertainty. In response, the government has introduced temporary relief measures, including suspending value-added tax and excise duties on petrol and diesel imports for 3 months. A draft 45-day ceasefire has been presented to the United States and Iran by Pakistani, Egyptian and Turkish mediators in an effort to pave the way for a lasting truce and encourage Tehran to ease its control over the strategic Strait of Hormuz. So far, neither side has officially responded as tensions remain high following the ultimatum issued by U.S. President Donald Trump. On the ground, airstrikes continue to cause civilian casualties, while Iran also maintains attacks against Israel and Gulf countries, highlighting an escalating conflict that is taking a heavy toll on civilian populations. President Zelensky held a high-level meeting in Damascus on Sunday with Turkish Foreign Minister and Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara, focusing on cooperation in rebuilding Syria and addressing key regional security concerns. Discussions also covered the wars in the Middle East and Ukraine, with Zelensky highlighting a strong interest in sharing military and security experience between Kyiv and Damascus, while signaling the possibility of new defense agreements with Turkey and renewed momentum toward peace talks, including a potential leaders summit in Istanbul. The visit underscores growing diplomatic engagement among regional actors seeking stability and amid ongoing conflicts. We now bring you back to Talk Sports in this newscast, where Cameroon has marked the 13th International Day of Sport for Development and Peace with a peace walk in Yaoundé under the theme Sport, Connecting People and Breaking Down Barriers. Bringing together diverse groups, the event highlighted sport as a role in promoting unity, inclusion and a social cohesion, while reinforcing its power as a tool for peace building and community development. Freddy Esomo and Sharon Ara. Time.
The 13th edition of the International Day of Sports for Development and Peace was commemorated on Monday, 6 April 2026 with a vibrant and symbolic peace walk aimed at promoting unity, inclusion and social cohesion through sports. This year's celebration was held under the theme Sports, Connecting People, Breaking Down Barriers. The event brought together participants from diverse backgrounds, including youth groups, sports associations, civil society organizations and public authorities. The peace walk served as a central activity of the day, emphasizing the role of sport as a powerful tool for fostering peace and mutual understanding among communities. It's with great pride I see that the sport culture is increasingly becoming part of Cameroonian populations. You've seen kids under 10 years old who've braved this distance, and as we'll never get tired of saying that sport unites people. Sport is an instrument for peace. The itinerary of the walk began at the 20th May Boulevard, proceeding through key landmarks such as the Reunification Monument, Carrefour Emia, the National Gendarmerie and Mesa, before concluding at the Multipurpose Sports Complex. Along the road, participants displayed banners and engaged in light physical exercises, reflecting both the spirit of sport and the importance of collective harmony.
Activities went on well, but I must confess that we need to do more sensitization because when we were doing our sport walk, people were a bit wondering what was going on. And unfortunately, seeing the calendar of the state, to make an activity like this on a Monday is a bit difficult.
The successful organization and active participation in the peace walk demonstrated a shared commitment to leveraging sport as a unifying force. The event reinforced the message that regardless of differences, people can come together through sport to build a more peaceful and inclusive society.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with that update in sports that we set the curtains to this edition of our 6 p.m. news over Candice Television. It is always a pleasure staying with you, but do not go nowhere. Up next is Selak Chi, a presentation of Tabby Clarkson. Meanwhile, I will be yours again tomorrow and it's exactly